Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so are you absolutely tired of freezing up when it matters most? Today we're diving into a source that promises to completely transform your conversational skills, taking you from, totally freezing up to having absolute unshakable confidence. We're going to explore 5 incredibly powerful communication skills it outlines that can literally change how you interact with the world. Let's get right into it. So, have you ever gone completely blank during an argument, only to think of the absolute perfect, most devastating reply, like 3 hours later while you're just standing in the shower? Yeah, we have all been there. It's an incredibly frustrating universal pain point, right? Whether you're standing in front of an authority figure, like maybe a boss or a teacher, or you're just trying to talk to a crush, suddenly your words just vanish. You kind of lose your aura, and worse, you miss out on so many real-life opportunities just because you couldn't find the right words in the exact moment.
Okay, let's dive into the science here, because this is where psychology actually gives us a massive sigh of relief. Listen, freezing up, it isn't a personal flaw. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a literal, biological event called an amygdala hijack. Basically, when you're under high pressure, thousands of thoughts just flood your mind. You're overthinking your body language, what to say, and you're terrified of what the other person might be thinking. All this intense overthinking causes your brain's logical center, the prefrontal cortex, to temporarily just shut down. Your brain literally gets hijacked.
So the crucial question is, how do we fix this? We're going to follow a structured 5-step playbook to build unshakable communication agility. First, we'll look at why we freeze under pressure, then sharpen your mental agility, exercises for vocal fluency, learn from the masters, and finally, the safe zone rule.
Starting with Section 1, why we freeze under pressure.
To actually overcome that amygdala hijack we just talked about, we need a major mindset shift. You have to intentionally step into the arena. Now look, if public speaking or answering out loud in a crowded room feels way too terrifying right now, that's totally fine. Start smaller. Practice debates and discussions with your friends. By repeatedly exposing yourself to this low-stakes pressure, you are purposefully building up your tolerance. You're training your brain to handle stress. And every single time you do this, your overthinking decreases, and you build that baseline confidence you absolutely need to communicate effectively when it really counts.
Moving on to Section 2, sharpen your mental agility.
Because here's the thing, putting yourself in the arena is fantastic, but it really only works if your brain is conditioned to process information quickly. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Imagine trying to cut down a tree with a rusty axe. It's super slow, it wastes a ton of energy, and honestly, you barely make a dent. That is exactly what a dull mind struggling to find words looks like. But a sharp axe, the work becomes effortless. A sharp, alert mind is fast, it's logical, and it generates smart, impactful replies automatically. You have to sharpen the axe.
So how exactly do we sharpen the mind? Well, we go to the mental gym. The source material recommends 4 specific exercises for this. First, play chess. Chess literally forces your brain into the habit of analyzing before reacting. Second, solve Sudoku and crosswords to keep your brain active and super adaptable. Third, do some basic math daily to strengthen that logical thinking. And fourth, just start questioning daily life situations. Ask yourself things like, why is this set up like this? Or what would I do in that exact situation? These specific games and habits train your brain to analyze and react almost like an AI. Before you know it, you're generating fast, logical, and witty responses without even thinking about it.
All right, let's move to Section 3, exercises for vocal fluency.
Let's see how this builds on what we just covered, because a razor-sharp mind and a brilliant thought, well, they're completely useless if that thought is spoken slowly, or with confusion, or just really low energy. People just won't take you seriously, and your confidence will tank right back down. To fix this, you need a 15-minute daily vocal workout. Step 1 is the pen technique. You literally place a pen horizontally right between your teeth and speak simple sentences. I know it feels super tight and totally awkward at first, but when you take the pen out and speak normally, your clarity and speed instantly improve. Actors use this all the time. Step 2 is using exaggerated mouth movements. Consciously overmove your lips and jaw while speaking. Just opening your mouth more actively automatically brings this strong, confident clarity to your voice.
Next up, Section 4, learn from the masters. Now, even with a sharp mind and a crystal clear voice, you'll still get stuck if your brain's database is just empty. Your brain cannot output witty, creative replies if it hasn't absorbed enough good examples first, right? You have to study the greats to build that internal database. Here are 4 specific types of media you should absolutely be watching. Number 1, watch debates to see how people initially respond to really tough questions. Number 2, watch celebrity interviews. The The source specifically highlights studying someone like Shah Rukh Khan for his impeccable timing and sheer confidence. Number 3, stand-up comedy, to see exactly how a punchline is set up. And number 4, study great public speakers to understand how to effectively use pauses and emotion. But here's the catch. Don't just consume this passively. Actively observe their body language, their timing, their pauses. You are intentionally feeding your brain's reply database.
And that brings us to our final step, Section 5, the Safe Zone Rule.
This brings us to a major warning from the source, and really the absolute climax of this whole playbook. The biggest mistake people make after learning these skills is trying to be witty or, savage in a high-stakes environment right out of the gate without any practice. Don't do that. The rule here is simple. Don't try to be savage in a high-stakes zone. Practice in the safe zone first. If you jump straight into a high-pressure situation and completely mess up your clever reply, you're just going to look silly and feel super embarrassed. Instead, rely on this reassuring safe zone rule. Test out your new witty replies in your close friends in casual conversations, or honestly, even just in front of a camera at home. In the safe zone, if a joke falls flat or you sound a bit awkward, there is literally zero penalty. You train your brain in a pressure-free environment so that when the real moment arrives, you just perform on autopilot.
So, I want to leave you with a final question today. What will your first safe zone conversation be? Don't just let all this great information sit in your head and do nothing. Take this 5-step playbook and challenge yourself to apply it today. Find a friend, start a fun, casual debate, and literally start rewiring your brain for total conversational mastery. Thank you so much for joining me on this explanator, and I seriously can't wait for you to step out there and confidently win every conversation.